Hi, this is Brett Ingram, award-winning entrepreneur, and today I want to share with you 7 lessons from the Oscars about business and life. You know, the Oscars is a super popular celebration of the pinnacle in film, right? From every aspect from Hollywood from the previous year. And one of the things that makes it so engaging for all of us to watch is the fact that we've seen some of the movies. We know the actors, so we may have a rooting interest. You know, unlike an awards show at a business or whatever, where we wouldn't know any of the people anyway, we have a personal stake oftentimes. It's a very public profession, acting is at least. There's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes, and there are a lot of people involved in making movies that we don't often hear about or see. But at the same time, we all know who the actors are, and we know who the people are that generally are the figureheads for these movies. And so it's really entertaining because you get a list or you get a collection of all these, super powerful Hollywood people in one room, and they all sort of talk about and decide who got the best award for, the best performances over the last year. And, I'm personally a huge movie buff. I love movies. I think there's something magical about going to the theater and being taken away into another world for a couple of hours, whether or not it's good or bad or scary or happy or funny or whatever. It doesn't matter. The fact is, tons of work went in to make that movie what it is. You have the actors acting out the lines and the scenes, but you have the set decorators that had to put together all the sets to make it look as fantastical as it does. You have the sound editors and the lighting people and the stunt people, and tons of other people are involved. That doesn't even include the editing and post-production stuff and the directors and all those other things. So what we see and focus on mostly is the actors. But the fact is, there's a lot of people that go, get involved in it. And because it's such a high profile, expensive, and entertaining sort of art form, it's also really interesting to see who wins and to see why, which roles to compare to each other and who's going to come out on top. And so it represents the pinnacle in film from just about every aspect. Some of the technical aspects are left to a separate awards show that is not televised, but at the same time, the main ones are all on the screen that we're watching at the same time. And, there's something really enjoyable about it, because even though for most of us, we don't live a life remotely close to what an A-list actor might live, at the same time, just being able to see them get recognized for work that we enjoyed or that we were immersed in when we saw it, and reveling at someone's ability. Very rarely do we get an opportunity to see people in their actual work environment and what they produce. And as an actor, that's exactly what you're looking at. They're on the set creating, they see the cameras and the lights and everything else. We don't see that. But when they're doing that, they're actually working. And so we actually get to see them actually work their craft right in front of us when we go to the movies. And there's something fascinating about that. But also seeing people get rewarded for great work. When we go to a movie that moves us, when we see a performance that inspires us, that makes us want to stand up and cheer. And those are the things that make it easy to rally behind and feel good about the award show, even though it may not be in touch with who we are as individuals or our daily lives. But even though it's a Hollywood awards show, one of the most amazing things about just about every walk of life is that, like everything else, it has lessons that transfer to business and to life in general. And so I want to share some of those lessons because I think it's super valuable and important to learn things about ourselves, about, our ability as entrepreneurs and business owners, and even as human beings from anywhere and everywhere that we can. In fact, the more differing perspectives we get, I actually think we're better off for it. So the first lesson that jumps to mind to me is that rewards come after the hard work that no one sees. You see the actor get up on stage and accept the award and smile and give a speech with some cheeky jokes and comedy, and it looks like a blast. I mean, who wouldn't want to be in that situation? But if you rewind to when they were on the set, they had to understand the character, they had to get into the character. Sometimes They're in a makeup chair for 2 or 3 hours before they even get on set. Then they're working from dawn to dusk. It's super long days, super hard work. And look, no one's shedding a tear for A-list actors that are making tens of millions of dollars per movie, I understand. But that doesn't take away from the fact that it's super hard work and that it needs to be recognized as such. You know, it isn't easy to embody another character, have a camera right in your face all the time, and be able to do that in a way that's convincing and compelling enough to win an award. You know, I can tell you from doing a video podcast, I'm myself. I don't need to pretend to be anybody, and I don't need to memorize anything. All I need to do is talk about what I think is relevant and what I think is valuable for people as entrepreneurs and individuals, so I can help share that and have sort of a dialogue where, you know, we raise each other up as entrepreneurs and individuals. For them, they have to actually learn all this stuff. They have to go through that. They don't get to make their own schedules and on and on and on. So the fact is, it's months and months and months, if not years of hard work before those rewards ever come. Because oftentimes, not only was the movie made over a year ago, sometimes several years ago, but in addition to that, those actors, it's not like they win with their first performance very often. So usually it's someone who's been doing it for a long, long time. You know, I actually just saw a documentary on the Dana Carvey show. It was a sketch comedy that they tried to run in primetime several years back. I think it was in the late 1990s. And Dana Carvey at the time was the biggest star in comedy. And so they thought for sure this was going to be a smash hit. And the fascinating thing about it is Stephen Colbert and Steve Carell were two of the guys that got to work on the show. They were total unknowns at the time. And, you know, you see Stephen Colbert on his show, and he looks like this guy that just sort of stepped into this show and he started doing this thing. But at the time when he was auditioning for Dana Carvey, he was actually waiting tables, living in a one-bedroom or studio apartment with his wife and daughter, and neither one of them were employed. They had no money, they had no resources, and he was waiting tables for years before he got a break. And so he was looking for anything and everything that he could do. So now we see him in his you know, full form and his and full expression, and he's funny and all those other things. But the fact of the matter is, he struggled for a long time, like a lot of people do. Steve Carell's agent told him, you know, if it doesn't happen with this one, you're probably just not going to make it in Hollywood. I mean, how amazing, right? That's what his agent told him, and that show failed. They got the show and they thought it was going to be a super success, and it failed anyway. And yet he still went on to become a superstar. And so rewards come after the hard work that no one ever sees. A second takeaway from the Oscars is that it takes a team to make an individual look great. Every one of those actors on stage, and to their credit, give credit, is only there because of, yes, their own individual ability, but because of everybody else involved, the director and their vision, right? Tweaking lines, making them do things in different ways, reshooting takes, using a different angle, the makeup people that make you look like the character that you're supposed to be embodying, the lighting people, the set people, you know, to make the set look so realistic, it's easy to get into character because you feel like you're actually where you are. The lighting and sound people, the editors, who trim down hours and hours of footage to get just the core of the movie that matters, and really key on the key parts of your performance to make you look great. Your agents, your coaches, all these other people are involved. And it takes an individual. So it takes a team to make an individual look great. So even though they stand up there with the trophy, right, with the Oscar, they recognize it's a team. And we all should as entrepreneurs also. And even in our lives, no one goes through life from one end to the other totally by themselves as an individual and does everything on their own. It's just not possible. You know, we need a team around us, whether it's a family in our personal lives or friends, and whether it is staff or outsourcers or whatever in our business. In order to become great at anything and achieve anything great, we need other people around us that lift us up, that make us look better than maybe we even really are. The third lesson from the Oscars is that it's a marathon, not a sprint. You know, oftentimes in today's day and age in particular, there is a heavy, heavy emphasis on instant gratification. We all want results and we all want them yesterday. And, that's a dangerous place to be when you're trying to accomplish something great. Because anybody who's ever done it knows that the only reason you accomplish something great is because of the work you put in. If it came that easy, first of all, everybody would do it. Second of all, it wouldn't be that fantastic, right? Everybody can ride a bike because it doesn't take that long to learn. If it took 12 years of constant practice to learn how to ride a bike, people would be amazed when someone learned how to ride a bike. I remember I heard Russell Brunson talking one time about his days as a high school wrestler. When he was a wrestler in high school, he wanted to be a state champion. And his dad said to him, well, listen, if you want to be a state champion, then this is what it's going to take. You have to be willing to work harder than everybody else on your team. And you got to be willing to put in more, sweat more, and suffer more than they all ever will in order to ever make it, because that's what everybody else that's trying to achieve at that level is doing. And I remember him saying, and I always thought it fascinating, when their team practices ended, his dad showed up, not to pick him up to bring him home, but to start his second practice. The team went home. He stayed in the gym for another 2 hours, working out with his dad, practicing. And that's why he became a state champion and a national champion wrestler, because of his dedication. Now, granted, you need some physical ability and aptitude, no doubt. But even with that, if you don't put in the work, you're never going to get there. And so it's important sometimes to step back when we get really impatient and to look at things in our businesses and in our lives and say, hey, listen, yes, I wanted this yesterday. I wanted to be a millionaire by the time I was 21. I didn't make it. But the fact of the matter is it doesn't matter, because at every age you're at, you feel good about where you are. So you just need to focus on what you can do today to make it go further. And you just need to be patient enough to understand that if you're doing what you love and you're pouring your heart and soul into it, that has to be enough for you to be able to get what you want out of it and for you to feel fulfilled by it. The fourth lesson from the Oscars for business and life is that doing what we love brings out the best in us. Every single actor, whether they embody a role that they believe is their really second nature, or whether it's completely outside the comfort zone that they ever thought they'd ever be able to play, at the end of the day, by going through the process, by going through the struggle of learning the character and spending all of these days on set with everybody else and all these hours and pouring all that into it, they develop a love for the character and for what they're doing. But they only do that because they love the process of the acting. Every single person that's achieving something at a really high level in acting does it because, yes, they're gifted, but they also love what they do. So it isn't hard for them to pour everything they've got into it. I've told the story before, but in a previous life, I had a corporate job and I was working in staffing. And I remember the very day, the very moment when I realized that wasn't the career for me. Because I was going into work every day and I was doing my job and I was pretty good, pretty personable, pretty good on the phone. I wasn't scared to make cold calls or do any of that other kind of stuff. And so I went through the process and I could place people and I could, get openings from companies and all that kind of stuff. But I remember listening to my boss, she was the founder of our company, on the phone one time. And I remember hearing her voice and the passion in her voice and the way that she spoke to the candidate she was talking to. You would think that this was like the placement of all placements, like this was a life and death thing. If she didn't make this placement, the company was going to go. It wasn't anything like that. She believed in her heart of hearts that this woman was better off in the job that she was offering her, not because she got a commission on it, but because for her, that woman's career. And I remember even after she hung up the phone, she came out and she was still sort of buzzing about it. And she's like, I just have to, she's got to take this job. I'm telling you, this is going to be the best career move for her. Her whole lens, her whole focus was on what benefit this was going to give this other woman. But the passion that she had for the job, I knew in that instant, I didn't have that in that particular career. And I was like, I could always be good, but I'm never going to be great. That wasn't ever what my calling was, and I was never going to be able to do it at the level that she was doing it. And I recognized it in that instant. And doing what we love brings out the best in us. So even if it seems illogical, even if it seems like not the prudent move for our career. It's important that we find something that we love, you know, or find a way to make something that, we love out of what we're doing. So that way we're passionate about it, and that passion will drive us to do it better than we ever would without it. Fifth lesson from the Oscars is that even when we don't win, the process still has value. Look, at the end of the day, there's one winner, right? All these, actors and actresses that are up for these awards, all these movies, they're all excellent in their own right. And we may have a rooting interest here or there, but the fact of the matter is, it doesn't make all the other ones losers because they didn't get the trophy or the award. They went through the process, they still got recognized for the greatness, and ultimately they're all better off for having gone through the process, loving the character, loving the filmmaking process that they went through. And it still makes them better at what they do for having done it. So yes, it would be nice to win. And, obviously everybody, when they set out to win, set out to do something, you'd like to win. But the fact is, sometimes we don't, and it still is okay. In business, there are a lot of times when we try for something, whether it's to land a contract or, to hire this person or to, make this product sale or whatever it is. And it doesn't always work. But if we reflect on what we did, first of all, there's value in going through the process itself. Second of all, there are always lessons that can be learned from it. And so it doesn't make it meaningless just because we didn't get what we want. There's value in it. We just have to find that. The sixth lesson from the Oscars, and maybe my favorite, but certainly one of them, is that gratitude is a powerful emotion. They've done study after study, and they show that gratitude actually creates a shift in your actual brain chemistry. When you express and feel gratitude on an emotional level, where it's visceral, where you can feel it, you almost radiate that positivity. And that gratitude changes the way that you think. And when you see people up on stage being grateful and sharing the award, they don't need to do that. They should do that. They don't need to. But when they get up there and they share it with everybody, there's something endearing about that. There's something that makes us like them more because they recognize the fact that they didn't do it alone. And I can tell you this without being involved in the movie industry or showbiz or Hollywood in any way, shape, or form. I can guarantee you beyond any shadow of a doubt that every person involved, when the person up winning the award is thanking them, is feeling super grateful for that and super proud and happy that they were at least acknowledged and recognized because they're behind the scenes. But the fact is, when we are grateful for something, it makes us better, but it also tells the other people around us we value them. And when you're on the other side of that and someone is expressing gratitude to you, that is a really, really positive and awesome place to be. It just makes you feel really great, and it changes the entire dynamic of the situation, the team, whatever else it is. And the seventh lesson is that sometimes that four-letter word, luck, and circumstances do matter. We heard story after story last night of how the person felt so grateful or lucky that so-and-so showed him this book or read him this script or made him read this or made him look at this or called him on that rainy Sunday night when he was down on his, not feeling good, or when they begged him to take this role even though they had to give up four other things to do it. You can see how circumstances all work together to sometimes create the magic. It's not always laid out, cut and dried, or clean or straight and narrow. Sometimes it's a confluence of random circumstances that cause things to come together. But sometimes when they do that, they come together in a way that's magical. And that is true in life and business too. There are elements of our lives, elements in our businesses where we get lucky and unlucky. And it's okay to recognize that. It's okay to acknowledge that. We hope for the most good luck and the most good circumstances, but also we shouldn't beat ourselves if we run into some bad luck or bad circumstances if they weren't something that we could control. We just need to know that if we keep pressing on, luck will change, circumstances will change, and things can get better also. So, when we look inside any field or any occupation, the fascinating thing is that what we realize is that we're all human. And on some level, the same ideas apply to us all. The takeaway here is that the Oscars represent the best that Hollywood has given us over the past year. From the stars we all know to new people that we discover or maybe see for the first time during the awards, we get a glimpse at what's considered the highest level of achievement in movies. While most of us may never be movie stars or actors, we too can give our best and strive to reach our professional goals and become the very best versions of ourselves.